Authorities have charged the 21-year-old suspect in Monday's Highland Park, Illinois mass shooting with 7 counts of murder. I
want to bring in now our friend and ABC News Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas. Pierre, always good to have you with us. And here we go. We're talking about another mass shooting, unfortunately. But you said something this morning on GMA. You said this comes down to a 3-letter word. How? How could this happen? How could these signals have been missed? And you're learning now about previous visits authorities actually made to the suspect's home.
TJ, it's incredibly disturbing. Neon flashing, red flags burning bright. In April of 2019, the suspect attempted suicide, and then a few months later, in September, he allegedly scared a family member so bad that they called police to tell authorities he was threatening to kill everyone. Still, he was able to later legally buy the assault rifle used to murder all those people.
Illinois has red flag laws. We know that the suspect, as you mentioned, was able to legally purchase those actually 5 weapons, including 2 high-powered rifles. Of course, President Biden signed that new gun legislation into law. Would that law have prevented anything this gunman was able to do legally in Illinois?
It's unlikely, because if the red flag laws in this case did not stop him from buying the guns, what will? The flags that happened here just fell through the cracks. It's just that plain and simple.
Yeah, what do we know now about a possible motive?
Well, authorities say they don't yet have a clear motive. What we do know is when you look at his social media footprint, sources say it's full of discussions and depictions of gun violence. He was allegedly assessed with death, intent on killing people.
And Pierre, we know that the suspect has been charged with 7 counts of murder, but we've heard from authorities hinting that there will be potentially more charges coming. What would those be? What would those look like?
Well, we're awaiting word, but you could imagine authorities charging the suspect with weapons violations, attempted murder counts, and counts of assaults, detailing every single person he allegedly injured. There's also the potential for federal charges depending on what the evidence yields.
Pierre, can you help us with something that you were mentioning a second ago, this new gun legislation? And we talk about a guy where there were red flags and authorities were called to his home, but still, why would that not have added up to something that would have, with the new legislation, caused this to be a red flag and kept him from getting guns in his hand? Can you explain how that would have worked?
TJ, the key here is they didn't think that those 2 incidents, the attempted suicide and the threat to family members, was bad enough, if you will, for someone to locate and notify authorities about it. So it wouldn't have been in the system when they did the background check later when he attempted to buy the weapons. That's what I call falling through the cracks. Why that information was not available to people to know when he was purchasing the weapons, that, oh, just months ago he was attempting suicide and threatening family members. You would think that would be useful.
Yeah, you certainly would, Pierre. And, it's unfortunate that we have to keep talking about learning lessons from these types of tragedies. And yet it seems like there are a lot of lessons to be learned by what didn't happen, as how you put it, with what fell through the cracks. What will authorities be doing now to try and say, what can we do next time? How can we do better?
Well, I think everybody's looking at these cases and saying, okay, how, when we have encounters with the mental health system, even when it's not deemed to be all that serious, how do we put that information into the system where it's available to people? Also, we haven't talked about the social media aspect of this. The fact that the social media companies, YouTube and some of the others, are now taking down some of the violent content he allegedly had posted is a huge issue. They're taking it down after the fact. It raises serious questions about why they're not able to police the millions of people using their platforms.
All right, Pierre, we thank you as always for jumping in here with us. And again, it's unfortunate that once again we're talking about a mass shooting and people falling through the cracks, but we always appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.